Okay, welcome. Welcome back to our podcast, Wired for Wellbeing. Delighted to be here for a new episode. I'm here with my lovely friend, Sue Coltman, who is also my co-founder with the Viva event. We are sponsored by the Viva event, as we let you know, an event that happens in the first weekend of November every year. And we're delighted to be here today with one of our 18 speakers. And I'm going to hand over to Sue, who's going to introduce. Good luck with the pronunciation.
Well, I've been practicing for about 8 seconds, so I should be fine. Really delighted to welcome our guest this afternoon, Kjetil Haugmo. And Kjetil is a friend of Viva because he's been a speaker for us before, and we've really enjoyed our association with you. And, in this community, it always feels like, well, you're our friend. It's not very formal. And what I'd like to say is that you're a transformational coach. You're based in Norway, and your work is specializing in teaching based on the three principles, which we talk about in most episodes, but we like to tease out of people because we're all unique, expressions of this understanding. And today we're going to broach the subject, or we're going to dive into the subject of success, which I'm really looking forward to exploring with you. So welcome, Kjetil.
Thank you so much. I can feel my cheekbones are already starting to smile just seeing you guys. It's what happens every time at Viva. So I'm just like I'm gonna go out of this meeting just smiling also. So thank you for the introduction. I really look forward to having this conversation about success with you guys. So let's dive in.
Well, I guess kind of handing the baton to you in a way. If you're working with clients, do you work with companies as well?
Well, a little. I have done that for quite a bit, but mostly now it's private clients. So, but of course, they work in companies, you know. So I work mostly with private clients, leaders, coaches, teachers, helpers, people who help other people. So mostly, yeah.
So when you talk about success, are you talking about that from, let's say, an individual experiencing transformation to the point where their life changes and pretty much every aspect of their life changes, regardless of where they're starting and regardless of their past? Would that be accurate?
Well, I just came back to this theme because it's been such a huge theme in my own life, and I wrote this book in 2012. This book came out. It's in Norwegian, so you won't probably understand but it's Find Your Drive Power, directly translated. And so it was about being the best version of yourself, but also creating success in your life. And at the time when I wrote this book, I came into the principles just a year approximately after this book was written. So that was in 2013. And then what really happened was I just really changed my view on success in a deeper level. I saw that because before the principles, before I came into this conversation we're having now, I just really didn't see how much outside in I was. Like really, I had an idea, a glimpse that, finding peace of mind, finding happiness, finding just contentment in life. I had a glimpse that came from me and from my thinking. But, as I came and dived deeper into the principles, I really saw how much that it's all about from the inside out. It really isn't from the outside in. And I heard these stories about, that I think that most people have heard that, so many people who achieve the external signs of success, but still they're really unhappy and just feel empty inside. And so, and I was kind of on just seeing that, yeah, it's about thought, at least a little bit. Uh, but when I came into the principles, I just saw that it's all about thought, all of the contentment and happiness and where you're um, navigating through life. It's all about your thinking in the moment. So it really changed me a lot. There was I had a message on this book that external signs of success will never be as important as your internal drive. But honestly, I did not really know what that internal drive really was before I um, saw more deeply into the spiritual nature of what life is. That internal drive is something way beyond the personal thinking. It's something that is more universal, something deeper, that has been such a huge discovery for me to see in a deeper way, because now um, when I create my dreams or create my life, it's so much more about what is really true for me, and not about how I look in other people's eyes. It's about what is fun for me, what is something that it just really alivens me, you know, and that's something deeper than my personal thoughts that really I've realized really want to look good in other people's eyes, my ego, and just seeing that it's possible to not listen to those personal thoughts and actually listen to something deeper that really lightens you up. So this is just something that has helped me find a more true way to success, a way that is so much more aligned with who I really am, and um, and also that gives a fuel, which is what do you say, lasting. It's not empty at all. It's really enlivening. It's something that I see that I feel more fulfilled towards creating my life. Um, than I used to do before, because from before there was a lot of fear and doubt and insecurity in that I wasn't really aware of, that I created, but I really wanted to. I saw this when because at the time when this book came out, it was a period in my life that I had all these external signs of success. I had the book, I had a really nice car and girlfriend, and I was living in a really nice place in Oslo. And on the outside, I looked really successful. But on the inside, I was arguing with my girlfriend every day. I was just feeling so worried about the future, and doubting that I could really create the future that I wanted, and overanalyzing everything. And I didn't know that there was a different way of going through life that would uh, help me find so much more peace of mind. Peace of mind, like the saying that when everything is in place on the outside, then you'll feel peace of mind, is a saying of the ego, right? But the heart or the soul, when you are in the right place in yourself, everything else solves, you know? So this is what I saw more deeply, that, you know, there's a feeling inside that is there and is not um, because I achieved something on the outside. it's already there, and it's a totally different place to create your life from. So instead of doubt, there's certainty, and there's opportunity and possibilities, and things to be curious about, and things to learn new stuff about, that enlivens you. So it's a totally different feeling of being in the world that I've seen more deeply. And that's what I was always looking for, but I didn't know that it was available, and that it's available for everyone. And it just changes your life so much. And then you can see that you create your life from a different place, and you feel more successful instantly, because it's not about something. It's cool to create something over there, but you already feel great, or good enough. Because I didn't know how much I really didn't feel enough, because I always thought that I need to achieve this stuff, and then I was so insecure that I hadn't achieved it yet. And all these thoughts are now just not of interest for me anymore, because when they're not, when I'm not following those thoughts, there is something deeper guiding me that I can listen to, and trust, and really help me enjoy life in a different way. And this is for every area and every moment in life and every experience. Right here now with you two as well. I could have a lot of thoughts about this has to be in a perfect way for me to feel good enough about myself. But I haven't had those thoughts today. I just wanted to meet you guys, and have a beautiful conversation, and just see where it goes, and of course do my best, but I can't do more than what's available in the moment anyway, so I'm just um, there's way less stuff on my mind, so I can be present with you, and what is coming up in the moment instead. So I'm not sure if I even answered the question, because now I can't remember where we started, but I hope that was something that I explained that was along the lines of what you asked for. So,
Absolutely, absolutely, and far, far more. And there's so many things as you were speaking. There were so many situations that I resonated with, particularly at the beginning when you said, because me too, when you said, I thought I had a glimpse of happiness doesn't come from the outside, and contentment doesn't come from the outside. Peace of mind is an inside job. Me too, at the beginning when I bumped into these three principles. But as I dive deeper, as the language you're using, it became clear that I was still seeing, I was still believing that,
yeah.
for example, that I needed X amount of money in the bank to feel peace of mind, that I
Mm,
need that much money to feel peace of mind. Um, so yeah, completely resonate with what you've been sharing. What's
yeah.
curious to me, and I was having a conversation with somebody recently who's writing or just finished a book on success, and we were talking about. So I'm curious if where you start with your clients is defining what success is for them, because that
Mm,
was what was starting to look obvious to us. Like, well, how can we be successful if we believe we need the car and we need the relationship and we need the money, etc., and then we realize actually we don't? Are you seeing? Do you believe? Are you working with clients defining what success means for somebody before?
mm,
So they're coming from that place versus trying to get all the trappings on the outside and then go, oh, actually, don't feel any of that. So I'm
yeah.
curious about that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, for sure. I just see that, and I really had to see this. I'll share a little bit about this in my own life as well, because when I came into the principles, uh, before I really understood it, at the point that I do now, I just my life got worse. You know, it really did get worse. Uh, Not really because of the principles, but it just happened. I lost my car, I lost my girlfriend, I lost the apartment. I just lost everything. And I think that, and the book wasn't a bestseller anymore, you know, just uh so many things happened that I thought that made me um good enough, or something that I could show off to the world, and suddenly I had nothing to show off to the world other than being who I was. And then I just started seeing more what was happening in my mind, and as I started seeing more was what was happening in my mind, I saw that I was pretty depressed, you know, and not and anxious and doubting myself and all of that. And then I was just like a little bit scared of that. But then I started seeing all of that in a different way, in a more peaceful way, in a more accepting way. So so I had to see, how can I find contentment and happiness for myself, which is the definition that I see of success. And 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 I see, when I work with clients, I just listen for that. You know, what do they believe about success? What do they believe about being happy and content in their lives? Um, And then I listened for their thoughts about their um, conditions that they believe they need to find that happiness and peace of mind and contentment. And then I help them see who they are beyond those personal thoughts. So to give you an answer on that, I just needed to see it for myself, what success really is, and then to be able to point my clients to see a deeper reality, because really seeing this deeper reality was all I ever wanted. You know, I just I still I'm still um, creating. You know, I want my business to succeed more and more. I want to build more money. I want to, you know, just create more of what I want in life. But I'm happy now, and I'll be happy then. And you know, it's just what this gift of life has given us the opportunity to do with our lives. But I think we are meant, or I believe that we are meant to create our lives from this beautiful feeling inside, and and from that we can create whatever we want, you know, the relationships or the health or the financial situation. And it's just easier to create life from that place. But it doesn't have to be, you know, it's anything other than fun, you know. It just needs to be fun and lighten you up. And so that's what I have needed to see for myself, but also what is really important for me to help my clients see, because I know that when they find this beautiful feeling inside of, with no conditions, just because it's already inside them, this feeling of contentment and happiness, I know that that is the best thing I can help them with, for them to be able to create the life of their dreams, or create a successful life. I know that, you know, they'll be okay when they find this feeling. So it's really hopeful, and it's really comforting as well, because I've worked with several clients that has thought, I just need to work my butt off for 20 years now, and in 20 years I'll retire, and then I can relax, and then I can have fun. And so what are you going to do for 20 years? You're going to be stressed out for 20 years, you know? And this is many clients that I worked with who has believed that I just need to really do everything I can and pressure myself and just do like um chase success to be happy. And when you see that, no, the happiness and contentment, that's the presetting of your mind. When you really see that, um, those 20 years will have such a different flavor. You know, you can, um, I can't remember the name of that bull that is smelling the flowers. Ferdinand. Yeah, so you can live more like Ferdinand. You can smell the flowers. You can just really be happy and still create. And it also like it also gives you a huge advantage in the possibility of creating the life of your dreams on the outside as well. It's just the best card that you have, the feeling that you have inside. So yeah, I'll stop there. I hope that was okay.
I just could listen for a lot longer. I mean, I find it really inspiring to start with, and I think people listening, in a sense, what I hear is this accessibility. This isn't about who is able to take on the training, who is able to do the practices. None of that applies, and
Mm,
to be told and to be understood in the way that you've described, that we all have this. It's a preset. I like that way, the way you describe that. And
mm,
actually, your teaching comes across as, well, of course, that's got to be inside out too. You recognize people will have this already. You
yeah.
help them to see that, and then their direct experience takes them on that journey. And, you know, all of us have worked with people, and it's like you're just there as a reminder, you know, because you wake up one day and you think, oh, it's all gone. I don't feel
Mm,
good. And then
mm,
that's the next part of the journey. Well, it's not about feeling good all the time. It's just about feeling good about however you feel
mm.
more of the time. Does
Yeah,
that make sense to you?
yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yes, for sure. There's there's something deeper than the feeling, the personal thinking and feeling that really comes and goes. There's an observer of all of that, which is wise. You know, there's a wise observer of everything that we're feeling, um, that knows, I've been working towards achieving a muscle up. I don't know if so there's a pull up and there's a muscle up. So you go over that. And I've been working to achieve that for 2 years. And I've been working out 4 times a week. And I haven't um, felt like it every time. It's it's not every time you feel like doing stuff, but there's something deeper there. So it's just been a really fun goal. It might be silly for others, but for me, it's just been a fun goal that I wanted to see what my body was able to do. And 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 I was just so when I didn't feel like training, I just there was something deeper that just told me um, that I've listened to that, come on, that's okay. Don't care about that. Just there's a something inside that just does it also more than really even debating about it. It just moves me in the direction of what I really want. And so for me at least, there's a listening to that deeper dimension, that internal guide, which knows um, what is best for you. And I've seen that this knowing inside of, I think we all really have a sense of that if we're honest with ourselves, that I know that this would be the best for me, you know, and it's a really loving, um, thing that just really takes care of us, and learning to surrender to that, or not just surrender to it, but seeing that and respecting it, and surrendering to that, and trusting that, well, then I see that life just really becomes better and better, and you don't. So now I like this, and I did manage to muscle up for just a few weeks ago, so it was just a huge success for me. Um, but I also, a year ago, I hurt my shoulder, and it was off for 6 months, and I could see doubts of the mind come in, like, am I really gonna make this now? Is it possible? Am I too old, or is it injured? Is it so I could see the doubts of my personal thinking, but I could also hear, I don't know, I don't have to find out, I don't have to figure it out, I don't have to analyze it. I can just well, train up my shoulder. Yeah, that sounded wise. That sounded like the only thing I can do now. And I can, I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. I didn't know, but there was something that knew the next step, and I've seen enough to to really respect that for my life. I don't have to see the whole picture. I just have to see what is the wisest thing to listen to inside yourself in the moment, and that's gonna pull you further towards uh, what you'd like to create in life. So
That is so clear to me. I hope that people that are listening find that just as clear. And the distinction between personal thinking, the personal mind, I would call that habitual thinking, conditioning, something that just is so familiar. But then you jump to, actually, there's I would say, a quieter voice that's guiding us. And I love that we can only need to know the next step. Only need to know the next step. I love that. That's something that feels very relevant for my life at the moment. Just that's all you need to know, because actually we don't know anything really. There's this illusory certainty, right? That we know what's coming, and if I do that, then that's going to happen, and if I do this, that's going to happen. We actually have no idea. We're just going on past experience that the brain's filtering for us, but we actually don't know, do we, at all? We just really don't know. So taking that next obvious step is the next obvious thing to do. It's what's happening anyway, really, in a way. We just think we're up to something and making decisions. I think that's how it looks to me anyway. I don't know whether you'd say that in the last couple of minutes we've got.
yeah, yeah. Well, just yeah, that's what it looks like, and and there's something, for me, this is there's something in those small um that those whispers, that knowing inside, is something that is just, well, I remember when I didn't really, I heard about it, but I hadn't really seen it. And I was in a course, um and and I was really frustrated about my business. I didn't know what to do. I was just like, and I asked the mentor, can you please give me a strategy? What can I do to make my business take off? And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't give you that. And then I was like, oh man, why am I even here? And then she told a beautiful story that moved everyone in the seminar to tears. It was such a beautiful feeling of love in the room. And she looked at me and she said, love will help you build your business. And that those whispers, that is, to me, that is loving whispers, that is helping us both build our business, our bodies, our relationships, and just our life, you know? It's just loving whispers. And as she said that, I was really intrigued, but I have needed to see what does that mean for me? How does it look? How, so I can get a intimate relationship with this knowing inside, this loving knowing inside that we all have inside of us.
I think what's wonderful for us is in each of our conversations that we've been having, whilst we might on the surface be saying, well, we're all talking from an understanding that we've each gained and how it's helped, but it's the uniqueness of the voice. And you see how we've all learned in the way that we have learned. So, you know, when you speak, it resonates with me, and examples from my own life might come up, then different to yours. But that's how I learned, incrementally, sometimes like a big increment and then nothing for ages. And when there's nothing for ages, sometimes you get to notice that loud voice again. And that seems to me, that's a really important, for me, really important period of learning. Because I might get a bit complacent and I might sort of put my own ideas on what's happening as opposed to direct experience of all that you've been talking about. So thank you for the clarity and thank you for sharing so beautifully with us. I think that's really going to inspire people that are listening.
Well, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. I loved hanging out with you guys, and I'm really looking forward to November as well when we'll meet at the Viva event. So,
Likewise. So in the meantime, how can people get in touch with you if they want to find you?
well, if they do understand Norwegian, you know, my webpage is a
Yeah.
good place to go. But, you know, you can get in touch with me on Facebook as well. So that's just my name, and my website is also my name, and so I do mostly things in Norwegian now, but also I I can speak to people in English too, so that's fine.
Well, your English is absolutely perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, so wonderful. And you can find us at thevivaevent.com. Tickets are still on sale for 2025, so we'd love to have you here. Thanks ever so much for being with us, and we'll see you all next time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kjetil. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll see you later.